Hi everybody, are you ready for some music? So today I'm going to do an example of the 4 to 7's Colourstrings class. My name's Erin, if you haven't met me before, it's my Colourstrings top. So if you've seen any of the early classes, this is what it's leading up to. So that the younger classes learn a lot of the songs from the Colourstrings books. They look like this. And when you get to the 4 to 7's class, we start to pick those pieces apart and look at the different elements that make them up. So the book that we're going to focus on this time is the second book. This is the workbook, and this is called the La book because it's got lots of pieces that start in the minor key. So that's introducing that for the first time. So what else can I show you before we start? So the books, if you want to do stuff at home, they come with a book with a lovely picture on one side and the music and the words on the other side. There's also CDs that a CD that you can get to listen to, which is like a story CD that has all the songs included on it, played by children who have used the Colourstrings method on their instruments, and also sung by them. It's really nice to just have on in the background to get to know the tunes better. If you want to join in the session today, there's not particularly anything you need to get out unless you want to get a ball for later. I've got mine. We're going to do a bit of rolling the ball, and you might I don't think there's anything else that you can usefully get out. So normally I'd bring everything that we'd need for the class, and sometimes we use percussion instruments, or we might use scarves, balls, ribbons, all sorts of things, but whatever we'd need, we'd bring. But this session today hasn't got too many props that you're going to need. So let's get started. We always start with our welcome song. So I'm going to move the camera back in a minute. So we do this welcome song at the beginning of every session for a whole term. So this one we're doing is about saying good morning and taking your hat off. So we'll talk a bit about in the old days when everybody wore a hat and you met somebody, you'd take your hat off to say good morning. So that's what this one's about. I'm just going to bring the camera back a bit. Okay. So we go. Good morning, and how do you do? Good morning, I'm fine, how are you? So you can see we're following the speed of the notes with our feet. Okay, should we just try that one more time? Do you want to see if you can join in? Good morning, and how do you do? Good morning, I'm fine, how are you? And later on, when they get to know it better, they'll do it in pairs. So they'll sing a solo, and one person will sing the questions and the other person will sing the answers. So it gets them to do some solo work when they get to know it better. Now, before we sit down, one of the big things we introduced in the 4 to 7's class, is the idea of mummy and baby bear. So this is a week 9 class, by the way. So this is I'll try and recap what we've done before this. So this is Mummy Bear, and she likes to walk. So we'll all practice doing some walking. Ta 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 ta. So we'll practice that a lot. And then baby bear, because he's so little, he has to run to keep up. So he does like jogging. T t t t t t t t t t t t t t t. That's the quavers, if you know what quavers are. And these were the crotchets, the longer notes. So we don't call them crotchets and quavers, we call them T's and Tars just to make it easier to say the rhythm. And we've just introduced Daddy Bear, which are the 2-beat notes, the minims. Now they're harder to do, so we're going to practice our Daddy Bear notes. So if you imagine you're a spaceman, if you lift your arms out to help you balance, because we're going to go ta, 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 ta. Those are the super long notes. Okay, so we've just introduced Daddy Bear quite recently, so that's quite new still. So what I do is have everybody sitting in a circle. I'm going to bring the camera back. And the children would all have a go doing the daddy bear notes, really slow, balancing after we practiced. And then everybody does it on their knee, sitting in the circle while a child has a go around the outside. And then they might choose a bear and do those steps around the outside. So you might go, Mummy bear, she walks like this, ta, 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 ta. And then baby bear, he runs like this, tee, 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 tee. And then daddy bear, he walks like this, ta, 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 ta. That's it. So the class is very physical. We do lots of moving around. We do it physically around the room, and then we might do it tapping on our bodies and reaching up and down so we can feel high and low notes. All sorts of physical things, as well as doing some note reading as well, which we'll come on to. So the three pictures here, and we've got the sailing song down here. Those are the four that we're concentrating on at the moment from this law book. So we're going to start with Naughty Magpie. So we'll have been singing this for quite a few weeks, and we're encouraging them to find their singing voice. And we're also learning what the different bear notes look like. So there's the baby bear notes, the T's, T, 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 T. And we talk about them being like little legs with feet on the bottom. So they're going fast. Or sometimes we talk about it's like two children holding hands. So this is the mummy bear note. So she's an adult, so she doesn't need to hold hands. Whereas here's the little baby bears, they need to hold hands. So we sort of talk a bit about both of those. And then here's the daddy bear note. So it's a bit like a duffer daddy with a big shoe on because he's got big feet. Okay, so that sort of thing. So what we're going to do, because we will have talked about the Naughty Magpie likes shiny things. So that's the point of the song. So I'll spread all these cards out in the middle and we'll move around the room doing the actions to the song. And when it gets to the bit where the magpie goes stealing something, I want them to pick a card and I'll put the bears at different parts of the room. So I'll just hold him on my knee so you can see. And let's put Daddy Bear over there. You can just about see Daddy Bear. Let's dip it down a bit. Okay, so they'll pick a card and then they'll take it to the right bear. So they're linking the sight of the note to the bear that we've been talking about, trying to make all those different links in their heads to remember these are the fast ones. And there's Daddy Bear with the really slow ones, and Mummy's in the middle because she just likes to walk. Okay, and I'll put the big notes next to them to help so that they can look at the picture as well. But as we go through the weeks, we'll do it without the picture and see if they can just remember. Okay, and if we've got littler ones in the class and they're not too sure, then they'll just follow everyone else, and we'll talk about that. You know, if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. You know, we'll just help each other out. So it's quite useful having a bigger age group, a wider age group, because they can follow the older ones or the more experienced ones. It might not be the older ones. So we're going to sing Naughty Magpie. So we'd fly around the room. He's a very naughty magpie. All his magpie friends are very naughty too. Sometimes they go stealing, sometimes they go stealing. Naughty magpie, what are we to do? So they love finding a card and then going to find the right bear that it matches with and giving it back. And sometimes we might talk about that, yeah, it's naughty to steal things, but then the magpies are being good because they're giving it back. Okay, so we talk about other things sometimes as well as just the music. So they really love that game, and it's very physical and visual, which most of the Colourstrings things are. Okay, so that's that game. Right, then we were going to do Way Up High. Now, I showed you this at the beginning. This is our workbook, So everyone in the class has one of these. This is the level 2 book. The level 1 one has pictures, whereas this one just has circles for the notes. So it's sort of a halfway house between just a picture and proper notation. So you can see on here we've got big circles for the tars, the long notes, and little circles for the Ts, the short notes. And we come back to this in different ways. So in this lesson, we're introducing the hand signs. I think we did it first last week. So I introduced the hand signs using Cyril the Seagull. Now, he can't speak English. He just speaks in solfa. Now, solfa is a way of labeling all the degrees of the scale. And it shows you which notes are closer together. They're called semitones, if you know that word. So some of the notes are closer than others. So if he sings you a solfa scale, it would sound like this: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now we learn different signs, like sign language, to go with those different degrees, which would go like this. I wouldn't get them to do all this. I'm just trying to explain to you. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So it shows you where the semitones are, because this one's really close to the do, it wants to go back up, and that one's really close to the mi, it wants to go back down. So it's telling you the distance between the notes, and we make it go high and low in the air, so we're physically feeling with our arms the notes going up and down. So the beginning of all the books start with a 2-note tune. So they're all picked because they're for their easiness to sing, and they gradually just get slightly harder as the book goes on. So you can see the solfa written at the side of the pieces. So this is the second one with 3 notes. So with the children, I just work on these 2. So we've got so, which we talk about, it's like a mirror. So if you put your hand near your eyes, like you're looking in a mirror, check your hair. Okay, so that's so. And then we talk about la being like a light hanging down from the ceiling. So you just let your hand flop. So we need to make sure that la, if I sit back a bit, you can see better. So we want so around our eyes and la a bit higher, like it's hanging down from the ceiling. Okay, so if I do a little bit, so this is my turn, and then you do it back. So my turn. So, la, so. Your turn. So, la, so. So, la, so. Your turn. So, la, so. My turn. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. My go. So, la, so. So, la, so. Now, we may or may not do the rests. So you see the cloud, that's the rest or the stop. And we usually blow the rain cloud away to remind us not to do a sign, or if we're clapping it, not to clap. So something happens because space in music is just as important as the note itself. So we may or may not do the blow. It depends how confident I feel they are. We might just leave a space there. It depends how much we've talked about the rest in the previous lessons. So we'll see if we can sing it all the way through. That usually we might try it in different ways. We might just do it copying, or if I feel like they've got the hang of the music going up and down, you can see if it's high on the page, the note goes higher. We might try it following that. So everybody's brains work in a slightly different way. So it's good to do things in as many different ways as you can think of, because some things might really click with one child and they don't click with another. So the more different ways you can do it, the better, until it clicks and then they've got it. So if you just want to copy my hand signs, are you ready? So, la, so. So, la, so. So, 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 la, so. Now we might sing it with the words, and I'd say just follow my hand going up and down if you're not sure where to put the high notes. Otherwise, you're listening in your head to think, when the sound goes higher, my hand needs to go higher. Okay, this time we're going to sing the words and do the hand signs. Ready? Way up high, swallows fly, diving, racing, sunbeams chasing, way up high. Brilliant. And I'll just show you it on the music, although we might not do it in this lesson. We wouldn't do it too many times. Ready? Way up high, swallows fly, diving, racing, sunbeams chasing, way up high. And when we're pointing to the music, we're thinking about trying to get our finger to go the same speed as we're singing. And these are like buttons, and we need to press the buttons as we go along, because some children, their fingers move way too fast. So that's why we quite often do it with our feet first. And if we can get our feet to go the same speed as our singing, then when we do it with our finger, it's easier because it's a smaller action. Okay. So, but that's the general gist of how we introduce the note reading. And this is the first time we would have coloured it in. Okay, so the idea is it doesn't matter what colour you colour them in. You're just picking two different colours. So one for the high notes and one for the low notes. So that might take a few weeks to sink in that's what the colours are for. So if somebody has a xylophone or a glockenspiel at home and they wanted to make the colours the same so that they could then practice on the xylophone, then that would be a really good idea. So some children like to mark the colours in the front of their book of each of the colours on their xylophone so they can make it match to do at home. But they'd maybe do that in a few weeks' time when we've got a bit more advanced. So the next song we're going to do is the trumpet song. So here's the little boy, and he's trying really hard to make a sound out of it, and he can't make a sound. It's a bit like me. I'm a string player, so I'm not very good. Although I do have my trumpet here. See if I can make it work. I'm not very good. So it fits with the song anyway. So this time we are practicing the words because we haven't done this one as much. So I'll sing it and you sing it back. And every time you sing, can you tap your hands like a little mouth? Yeah. And we might use some castanets maybe, but we're not going to do those today. So I'll sing it first, and then you sing it back and tap your fingers when you sing. I keep blowing, I keep blowing. See me puff, see me pout, see me puff, see me pout. Naughty trumpet, naughty trumpet. Not a note will come out, not a note will come out. That's it. When we're talking about trumpets, we might practice buzzing with our lips, which is a really good thing if you want to go on to be a brass player. Not that I'm very good at it. And then we do some marching around the room, so we're feeling the beat of the music while we're singing the song. So we do it as a moving activity as well. So let's just pretend, although I'm not going to move the screen. I keep blowing, see me puff, see me pout. Naughty trumpet, not a note will come out. Yeah. So a lot of the time, particularly in the younger ones class, we try and find the beat, the heartbeat of the music. And then with the older ones, we're then trying to add on top other things. So like the rhythm, although we don't really talk about the rhythm, we just talk about the words. We'll tap the words on top of the heartbeat. So we might try and do two things at once, which is great, particularly if you're going to do piano. Because the Colourstrings classes are meant to go alongside instrumental teaching. There's violin, cello, there's a piano book, there's a flute book, and I use the piano book on the harp as well, which works brilliantly. So the idea is that the songs that we learn now, you'll then learn in your instrumental lessons, and you'll just get a deeper understanding, a deeper feel of the music. And I've got some 2 girls on cello at the moment who are coming back. This is their 3rd year of playing cello, and they're coming back. They're working on their grade 2 music. But every time we learn something new, like we've just learned forward extensions, we've come back to the tunes in the book. So we come back to Way Up High. And so to do those new notes, to practice stretching out and bringing your thumb down, they just play Way Up High because they know it. They don't need to read the music, so we can just concentrate on the technical things. So they're really useful little tunes to just keep coming back to when you do something new on the instrument. Brilliant. So our next piece is going to be the sailing song. So we do this with balls. We're going to sit on the floor with our legs out, and they put their feet together, so they've got like a little diamond shape between them. And we're going to roll the ball backwards and forwards. Now in the little ones class, we just do the pulse backwards and forwards. But this time, in the older class, we're going to tap for the T's, the fast notes, and then we're going to push for the tars. So obviously you've only got one ball between them. So if you're the one with the ball, you'll tap the ball. If the other person's got the ball, you just tap fresh air. Okay? So they'll know this song quite well. We've been singing it for weeks, and it's only the 2nd one in the book, so it's quite a simple song. So let's try it together. We are sailing, can you see? Just us 3, sailing far across the sea. Just us 3. So that's a little bit tricky to show you, but I think you understand. So before we get the balls, we might just practice in the air. So everybody's doing tap, 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 push, tap, tap, push. Yeah, we might just do it in the air first before we do it with the balls. Okay, so that's a little bit tricky because we're having to think about, are these words the fast ones? Are these the slow ones? And at first they might be just copying everybody else. But eventually they'll be working out in their head, even if they don't realize it, because we're just tapping the words. Okay, and then sometimes later on we might actually say the T's and tars, which is harder because you've got to think of the words in your head. We are sailing, can you see? Just us 3. Yes, that's more advanced. So we'd keep coming back to the same songs and just notching it up ever so slightly. And so just do one slightly different thing with it. Same songs. So obviously they love using the balls, and it's great working as pairs and doing things together. Great. So the next thing we're going to do is getting ready for another tune that we've been looking at, but it's actually in this book. So the purple book, the TT book, is a rhythm based thing. So the red and the blue book, they're thinking about solfa really, and the high and low notes as their focus. These ones are focusing on introducing new rhythms. So they don't necessarily have one of these unless they particularly want to buy one, but we do learn some of the pieces out of here. And what we've been introducing is the titai, so a short long. So the Colourstrings idea is that because the baby bear is the T, and this is what it looks like when he's got nobody to hold hands with, his hand just drops down. And then this is the mummy bear, but because she's got a little pocket that she can put the baby in, it's like a tar and a T together. So we just put a dot there for the little Joey. That's how they introduce the dotted notes. So that's quite tricky, especially if you haven't done the level 1 stuff. But you can. It is doable. So that's kind of what we're introducing, but in a very, very, very simple way. So we're doing some memorizing. So I've got 4 cards here. I'm not sure whether they'll all stay up. Let me see if I can get them to stay. So I'd lay them out on the floor in order. Now this is the main rhythm for for this song we're going to do, but they don't know that. So we're just working on a rhythm exercise. So we'd say the T's and T's together, which we've been practicing. So T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 tie, ta. So we call this tie because it's a ta and a T together. So a 1.5 beat note. Yeah. So we'd practice that bit a lot. And then, so this might be the first time they've actually seen the card for the T tie, but we'll have talked about the kangaroo a lot with his little, the mummy and the baby together. And then once they're happy to clap it and say the rhythm names, then I'll say to them, right, which is the easiest to remember? Now they'd probably go for this one with the rest. So we're going to get rid of that one. Although I could turn it over, but I think they can see through the card. So we're going to say it again and see if we can remember that one. T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 tie, ta. Now I think I've picked up the wrong card, but never mind, it doesn't matter. It's very similar. So which one should we turn over this time? Let's turn over the first one. So let's say it again. T, T, ta, ta, T, 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 tie, ta. Brilliant. And then we'll gradually turn them over one by one and see if we can do it without looking. So we'll still point. We're just sort of transferring it into our memory. And again, some of them will find that really difficult and they'll just copy everyone else. But that's a good skill anyway, just to copy. My memory's terrible because I'm dyslexic. Right. Then we'll have a go. This is the tune, Our Brown Bear. So the other idea for Colourstrings is talking about the trains as T's and the cars as Tars. And then there we've got the T-tie with the kangaroo and the Joey. And then we've got a blown out candle for the rest instead of the cloud. So those are the two different images, because Colourstrings is very much about having images that link to the music. So we practice pointing to it and just singing the words. So we're practicing going fast on the trains and slow on the cars, because the high-speed trains can go faster than the cars. And then we've got T-tie for the baby and the kangaroo, and we're going to blow at the end. So let's have a little go. We'll just sing the words. Does he eat cherries sweet, our brown bear? Does he like cherries ripe, our brown bear? Did he fall from the wall, fall down on his head? Is he sad, is he glad, our brown bear? Now we might also sing T's and Tars, or we might do that on a different week. So T's for the trains, Tars for the cars, and then T-tie. But first we'd just sing the words, and then the first few times we've done this song, we probably didn't talk about it at all. We probably just did some moving around to it, or waving scarves, or shaking instruments. So they were just really listening to the song, getting used to it. And I was doing the singing. So then after a few weeks, they'll start singing, and then we'll start breaking it down. Right. Now, sometimes we do some listening work, like we do in the little ones class. We always open a little ones class with some listening and feeling the beat. But I don't do that every week with the older ones, because they generally can do that quite well by now. We quite often do a dance. We might do that in the middle. I've got it at this point in the session. We wouldn't always get this far in a lesson, so we might have done enough. That might have taken 40 minutes up to now, but I'll show you the dance. And sometimes we do lying down listening to music, like we do at the end of the younger ones classes. But then we tend to talk about what does it make you imagine? You know, if you were listening to this piece of music and it was on a film, or you were at that theatre and the orchestra were playing, what would be happening on the stage? And they come up with all sorts of amazing, interesting things. So we're teaching them how to use music to imagine, to give them ideas that maybe if they're doing some writing about something, they could put some music on and it would just spark their imagination. Showing them how that works. Other times we might talk about feelings. How does it make you feel? How do you think the person who's playing it might be feeling? Is it sad music? Is it happy music? And the thing that there's no right or wrong answer, that, we all feel differently about different pieces of music. But some of them, generally, if they're faster, kind of make us feel more lively. And if they're slower, we might feel more calm. But it doesn't matter. It's a personal opinion. So let's do our dance. So we're going to have 2 lines of people holding hands. It's nice. It's really great to be holding hands, be able to hold hands again, because we've got out of the habit of touching other people. It feels scary, but it makes a massive difference to the gelling of the class when they feel comfortable to hold hands with each other. And I really welcome adults joining in the class as well, the parents or carers or whoever brought them, because that really helps them be confident. Sometimes if they've done level 1 class, their parent might want to not join in so much in the level 2 class, but it's completely up to the parents. But generally, the more the parents join in, the more the children join in. So we're going to hold hands in 2 lines. We're going to walk forwards 4 beats and then back 4 beats. And then if the people on the far side let go of hands, we're going to make an arch with our hands on this side, and they're going to go underneath. And when we get to the opposite side, we're all going to turn around, hold hands, start again. So it's a bit like a barn dance type thing. So let's put the music on, and I will move the CD, move the camera back. And we'll give it a try. You'll just have to imagine what it looks like with the whole group. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we might do an extra 4 beats, turn around, hold hands again. So I'll just tell them when to start. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And up under. And we'll turn around. And ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go underneath now. Turn around. Yeah. You get the hang. You get the idea. So I try and mix it up. We'll do a movement activity in between the sitting down ones, or we'll do something where we hold something, shake something, in between things that we might be concentrating a bit harder with, pointing and things. I try and mix it up a bit. And the last thing I've got in my emergency bit, if we happen to get through everything really quick, is head, shoulders, knees and toes. And then we'd miss one out. So if so you go head, shoulder, and toes, and we put the picture out. So that was the knees we were missing out. And I'd put that out so we remember to miss that one. So, but we probably wouldn't have time for that. As you can see, we've gone through the time already. And then we finish with our goodbye song. Shall we wave? Goodbye now, our lesson must end. Goodbye now, wave bye to our friends. Brilliant. So it's a whole year's programme, starts in September, finishes in the summer, and it's progressive. So it's much easier if you start at the beginning of September, because everything just builds on what's happened in the previous weeks. But you can join mid-year, that's absolutely fine. I've got some recap lessons that I can slot in to cover things that we did earlier, and we're often just going over the same sorts of skills, maybe doing the same thing but with a different piece. So you can slot into it, but it's a really good progressive years program. And And so this year we're going to do level 2 because I've got some children carrying on who've already done level 1. So it's the same sort of stuff, just with a different book. So any more information, do get in touch. You can find me on Facebook as Colourstrings Birmingham. That's BHAM. Or just find me, Erin James, and I'll give you some more information if you like. Hope you've enjoyed the session, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.